Hello, everyone. Benjamin Lindsay here, managing editor at Backstage. We are sitting with Justin Baldoni today to discuss his new film Clouds, which is coming to Disney Plus later this week, October 16th to be exact. So I'll just give him a moment here to join our live and we can get talking all things filmmaking. He's, of course, also an actor known for Jane the Virgin. So we'll be going discussing his whole career and picking his brain for the next 20 minutes or so. I see Justin in the audience. Hi, Justin. Just going to add you here. Get going. Hey there. How are you?
Hey, how are you, man?
Good, good. I'm Ben from Backstage. It's nice to meet you.
So awesome to meet you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Where are you calling in from?
I am here in LA.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
You've been holding up okay?
Yeah, all things considering, absolutely. I mean, I think all of us struggle in our own ways,
Yeah,
even the most privileged among us. And but at the same time, I just feel very grateful and blessed that amidst all this craziness in the world that's happening right now and all the darkness and all the bad news, we're able to put a little light out and put some love into the world and give people some hope with this movie Clouds.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it is a big week for you. Clouds is coming to Disney Plus on the 16th. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. By the way, this is so cool because as a young actor, like I would read Backstage and I'd always be like, oh man, that'd be so cool if I got in the magazine one day. Or
There you
because you have all these like young actor, these things that when you're like 20, 22, 25 years old, you want to be seen by like this community.
go.
So when they told me about Backstage, I was like, yes, 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 whatever they want to do, yes.
That's awesome. We love hearing that. So you are a past reader of ours. You used our casting notices and everything.
I
The whole,
did back in the
whole thing.
day. I did back in the day. At some point, when you're a young actor, you just don't want, you want to have some agency over your future and
Mm.
over your career. So I remember, going through all that and absolutely, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I love hearing that. And I do have some questions here that'll be giving us a walk down memory lane, if you will. Um,
Sure.
but for starters, let's dive into Clouds. It is such a special movie and based on an inspiring true story. Just for our audience today, can you tell us how you first got involved, how you became attached as director?
Yeah. So when I was 25 or 26, I quit acting to pursue my passion and my dream of telling stories that touched people's hearts. Um, and I basically spent a year traveling the country and telling stories of amazing people living with a chronic or a terminal illness who were just living life the way that we all should. And
Mhm.
that aired on YouTube. And as a part of that season, the very last episode, I found Zach and I went and told his story. And Zach became like a little brother to me. And before he passed away, we were FaceTiming with him and his girlfriend Amy, and I promised him that I would keep telling his story and I would do whatever I could to make sure the world knew his name and heard his music,
Wow.
and that we would raise money also for his fund. He before he died, he set up a fund called the Zach Sobiak Osteosarcoma Fund to help end
Mhm.
children with cancer. So after his mom wrote the book Fly a Little Higher, which is being re-released today, it's called Clouds, a memoir. I asked her if I could turn it into a movie, so I optioned it. And over the last 5.5 years, I've been trying to make it. Here we are.
Wow, wow. So really a matter of sticking to your word in a pretty powerful way.
Keeping your promise, sticking to your word, and just not giving up despite, everybody telling you it's probably not going to happen or it's impossible, which is kind of the through line of my career.
Right. Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'd love to hear how you went about casting the film then. Obviously, you have personal ties to these real life people. So it must have been pretty important for you to find the right actors for the job.
Well, I don't know. I think that directors, I think 90% of directing is casting and finding the right cast. Um, and boy, did I find the right cast. I always say that Zach co-directed this movie with me. I really believe in the that the connection between this world and wherever we're going next when we pass away. And I believe that that world heavily influences this world, like the way that we can influence a baby in the womb. I believe that we're the womb and they're there. And I really feel like Zach co-directed this movie with me. And every step of the way, he was helping me pick the cast and tell the story the way he wanted me to tell it. And I mean, Finn Argus, I know he's been doing some stuff with you guys. Brand new actor. Just this is his first feature, and he is a rising star and just such a beautiful soul. And that was the key with Zach, is you had to find somebody that had that innate beauty to them, that like that simple outlook on life, that grace, that goofiness, but also that sincerity that's really hard to find. And that's Finn. That's who he is. He's a sweetheart, and that's who Zach was. And I think he was born to play this role. I'm so excited for his career and his future.
Yeah.
And so, Sabrina Carpenter, who I don't think anyone's ever seen her like this. She's known for doing a lot of things, but this is Sabrina in a way that we've never seen her, playing a real person. Madison Iseman is just lights up the screen with that big smile.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. And then of course you have Nev Campbell, who I've been a fan of since I was a teenager, who is unlike she's ever been in this movie. And Tom Everett Scott, who is just a legend. So this cast was everything, man. Made my job easy.
Yeah, for sure. I love hearing that 50% of directing is just finding
probably 90%, honestly.
90%, because you are in good hands, but they were also in good hands with you. Do you feel like, in terms of reading up on you for this interview, it seems that you've always had your hand in all the pots when it comes to entertaining. You've acted, directed, produced, written. So do you feel like your experience in front of the camera informs how you interact with actors when you're behind the camera? Do you kind of able the kind of directing experience that you would want as an actor?
Oh yeah. I'm really sensitive, and I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome, as I think many people do. We just don't talk about it, especially us men. So I've had so many experiences over the last 15 years of my career as an actor where I just left feeling terrible. Excuse me, sorry. We have a pandemic puppy. We got a puppy, which he does not like. He does not like people knocking at the door.
I've been on. My buzzer goes off and my dog gets barking too. It's just
crazy. But I remember even auditioning. I left feeling like I didn't matter. Like and on sets at times, the way that directors would talk to me, I just didn't feel like for a lot of my career that anybody valued or appreciated my contribution on a set, especially when I was like a day player or I just wasn't a part of the main cast. And I think what that does for actors turned directors is it gives us empathy, which I think is the key to every job, right? Like you can't be in a position of power and not have empathy and compassion and understanding and true knowledge of what everyone else is doing. And if you do, you're going to lead like a dictator and not a servant leader. And I try as best as possible to always be a servant leader. And in many ways lead from the bottom up and not from the top down. Because I think making a movie is about galvanizing a crew and a cast, and being in the trenches with them. And I think if there's anything that my acting career has allowed me to learn and kind of do, and kind of what I've learned and impart into my directing career, has really just been about creating a safe space so people feel loved and appreciated and welcomed and safe to try new things and be vulnerable, because acting is extremely vulnerable. And it's not just like dance, monkey dance. It's like we have to become these people, especially if we want performances that you want on the screen and you want to be memorable. And so much of that comes with safety. And it's like any relationship, right? Any relationship requires safety. You need to feel safe, you need to feel seen, you need to feel heard, you need to feel loved. And so I think that's the biggest thing that being an actor in front of the camera has helped me with as a director behind the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Did any of those early career experiences where you might have been dealing with unpleasant people at the top, if you will, kind of learning exactly what you don't want to be as a director. But it is hard in those early days to keep pushing through rejection, to keep pushing through feeling undervalued on a set for
Yeah.
what advice do you have for early career actors out there to kind of push through those times that are less rewarding?
Well, sorry there. I was just getting a FaceTime.
Yep. Yeah. No worries.
Stop FaceTiming me, people. What would I say? I would say, well, first of all, sorry, I keep getting these FaceTime.
All right.
People are excited about last night. I don't know how to turn that off. Anyways, because it's Wi-Fi. I would say, first of all, what I've always said to young filmmakers or young actors is you can't allow your self-worth and your happiness to be dictated by the outside world, which is, I know, is such a broad statement, and everybody can say that. Like, you can see 1,000 Instagram posts today saying, like, happiness comes from within, but what does that actually mean? But as an actor, it's really hard because our success is measured by what other people think of us, and whether or not we get a job, or how close we get to it on an audition, or whether we get a call back, or if we do get that job, if we get another job from those same people. Like, everything in this business is this hustle and this climb, and we're constantly needing to use one thing to get us to the next thing. It's like this never-ending ladder. And even when you get to the top of that ladder, which I'm not at, you are constantly looking around you and looking down to see who's coming behind you to try to knock you off, or who's on a higher ladder. And so our business masterfully makes us all feel less than, no matter how successful we are. And that's the first thing I'll tell people is you have to know that's going to happen. Yeah. There's no job, there's no movie, there's no amount of success, there's no role that will ever leave you feeling satisfied. You will be on a constant quest for perfection and to be seen, and for worth and to be valued, if you allow your jobs and the people in this business to dictate your self-worth. And that's the most important thing. And so I think that there's a level of expectation that has to happen when you enter this business. And what I try to tell, especially young people, and even people my age that will listen, is like, you got to remember why you're doing this. Because all of us forget. One of the Arabic words for human, one of the translations is insan, insane, right? Which is translated to they who forget. So as human beings, we are in one of the oldest written languages, we are translated into people who forget. We're insane people who forget. So we have to remember the why. All of us do. You, me, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, whoever, Steven Spielberg. We always have to remember why we're doing this. And if we forget, then our careers are going to fall off the ladder. Our mental health is going to decline. We're not going to be happy. You see that happen over and over and over again. Yeah. So it's about why. Why are we doing this? Are you doing this because you want to fill a void in you because people didn't see you growing up and you want to show them that you made it? Are you doing this because you can't do anything else and you have creativity and storytelling in your bones and you have to get it out or you're going to explode? Are you doing this because you want to touch people's hearts? Like, right? Yeah. Why are you doing it? And then when you find that why, you have to find a way to be happy doing whatever version of that is, regardless of whether society or our business considers it successful. So it means go put up a play for 100 people or for 20 people, and that should fill you just as much as it does if you booked that role. Yeah. But otherwise, it's a train to nowhere because you'll never be satisfied. Our insatiable quest for being liked and wanted and seen will never be enough in our business. Yeah. I love that train of thought, and obviously these are bits of wisdom that come from hard-earned experience along the way. Very. It seems that you have taken the platform of your success to kind of be a resource or a light for these early career folks. I'd love to take that to your efforts during this pandemic and Wayfarer Entertainment. I know that you held a competition for early career filmmakers. Just what is the impetus for making those efforts in the first place, and what can you tell us about what you've been up to these last few months? Yeah, so I started a company called Wayfair Studios just before I made Clouds last October, and I raised a bunch of money because I wanted to take my career in my own hands and not rely on other studios and people to make the movies I believed we should make. But more
Mhm.
than that, I wanted to have the green light power, the power to say yes to the people like me who were always told no. Say yes to marginalized filmmakers or yes to unconventional ideas that could have a opportunity to touch people that maybe don't fit inside Hollywood's like commercial box. So I started this studio to finance and tell and create stories that could make a difference and to help find filmmakers and champion filmmakers who um who deserved that support. And when the pandemic hit, I was talking to my team and we had this money and we had these resources and nothing was getting made. And one of my team members said that we should shoot a movie during quarantine, like a found footage type movie.
Mhm.
Um, and it just gave me the idea. I just saw it clear as day. I was like, well, forget about us doing it. What if we empowered 5 new filmmakers to do it? And everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. So we started the 6 Feet Apart experiment, which
Mhm.
is we gave, it's more money now, we're spending more money, but we essentially gave 5 filmmakers $50,000 to make their own movie and then provided them with, a ton of extra support equaling, over 100,000 in terms of, post-production and composing and resources and things like that. And we had this kind of national competition and we had, I don't even know how many submissions, but we picked 5. All of them were first time filmmakers. 4 of them were first time female filmmakers.
Mhm.
Um, and it's been an amazing process to kind of support them. We paired each of them up with a mentor, a successful established filmmaker. And we're about to go into production on all 5 of those movies right now. And
That's
at the end of the day, it's just about, I believe, like if you get to a place, you just got to send the elevator back down. Um, and because I hope people will continue to do that for me, because I'm not at the top. I'm still feeling like I'm, barely getting off the ground. And I hope that this works because I would love to do this all the time, not just for 6 Feet Apart. I'd love to continue to do this and continue to find young filmmakers and give them the means necessary to break into our business and have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What excites you about emerging talent then? Obviously, these are 5 unique filmmakers in their own way.
Yeah.
So what kind of checks your boxes when it comes to that collaborative spirit, and what makes you want to work with someone in that way?
Well, the first thing for our studio is like the filmmakers have to have a clear understanding of their why, and their why has to match our why for us to get involved. And for us, it's about how can we use cinema, how can we use this art and this platform to shift someone's perspective, to touch someone's heart,
Mhm.
to bring someone joy in a time of darkness, to make someone rethink something, to eradicate the isms of the world, right? What are fresh perspectives on those things and ways that we can do that and tell those stories? There's one of our projects is about mental health, which is really important. One of our projects is written by someone with cystic fibrosis. So she has a chronic illness, so she's part of that community. And then she's
Mhm.
also directing it as a first time filmmaker. And it's an inside perspective into what it's like to have that illness during COVID-19. Um, there's a film that's about the way that we're all connected and human beings. And it also experiences and shows what it's like to be a member of the unhoused population in downtown LA. And we're currently looking for a real person who is a member of that community to be in the movie. So it's just all about being truly sincere and authentic in the approach. And then once we start filming, it's just about finding those little bits and pieces that make it magical, that make it real, that because I feel like we're all, we can all sniff out bullshit, excuse my language. We can all tell I've been saying in a sea, like when everybody is trying to be authentic, in a sea of authenticity, then nobody is. So
Mhm.
how do you distinguish what is truly authentic? How can we put extra love into that? And I'm just looking for filmmakers with passion.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
That's great. That's great. Well, I feel like I could talk to you all day, but
Yeah, man. Sorry, I've been
I
talking your ears off.
No, that's the point of this interview, right? But I do have a final question for you, just in terms of these extraordinary times that we're living in. Obviously, you have found ways to stay creatively engaged, keep the well full. You've been spreading that ability to other filmmakers and other creatives out there. What advice do you have for people during this time, whether it be front of the camera, behind the camera, what have you, to keep that well full and to kind of push through this difficult time?
It's a great question. I think that everything in our lives, everything, whether it be relationships, whether it be our careers, our passions, whether it be our bodies, our souls, our brains, the physical plants need to be watered. And what I mean by that is time needs to be put in to keep it green, to keep it fresh, to keep it growing. And when something is not growing, it dies. And it's very easy to let the outside world tell you what you should be feeling, right? It's very easy to become, angry and let that anger into your personal life and into your relationships because there's so much injustice happening in the world. But what I would say is you also have to find balance and find a way to like yourself and to love yourself and believe in yourself and to water yourself. And so if you are a creative person and you are happiest when you are being creative, then find a way to be creative without anybody else giving value to what you're being creative for. You got to find a way to do it. So whether it's writing a script, whether it's writing an idea down, whether it's doing an Instagram live one woman man show for 7 people, whether it's just praying. For me, it comes down to like praying and having uncomfortable conversations when I'm feeling things, because I learn about myself and I have creativity pop up when I do that. It's about checking in with your whys. And I have a little process, if you don't know the why process, but I believe it takes 3 whys to get to the real why. And, it's like I have a 5-year-old and she'll ask me like, why? By that 3rd why, I'm like, oh, all right, well, the sun comes up because the moon, because we're rotating and I'm trying to explain. And then you're like, wow, that's the real why, right? It's not just the sun comes up, it's why does the sun come up? And you can ask yourself that question. Why do I feel empty after I leave an audition? Great. Why do I feel that? Great. Why? Oh, wow. Because I wasn't seen when I was a child or whatever it was. And so I just think it's about asking why and then doing something. I believe in my faith. I was raised in the Baha'i faith. We're told that faith is conscious knowledge. So you know something, and then the practice of good deeds. So the idea of you know something, and that means you then have to do it. And that's just religious faith, but you can have faith in yourself, and to have faith in yourself means you know something, you understand yourself, you ask yourself those questions, and then you freaking do something. You got to go do it. One without the other doesn't work. You have to do it. And even if you don't feel like doing it, do it. I use the cold plunge. I hate getting into cold water, but I just talk myself out of it. There's no reason. Why am I getting into cold water? That's a crazy idea, right? But when I do it, I make myself do it, I get out of that water, I say, I accomplished something today. Take a cold shower, whatever it is. Know something, do it. Water yourself.
That's great. I think that's the perfect energy to take with us into the rest of this day, the rest of this week. Justin, thank you for your time. It was great to pick your brain a little bit. And congratulations. Thanks, man. Clouds, everyone watching right now. Of course, that's coming to Disney Plus on October 16th. Go watch it. It's such an inspiring story. And Justin, be in touch. Until next time.
Absolutely, man. Until next time, brother. Be well. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.